Has it started?
Um, yep, it's
Okay.
couple of dorks.
Oh, we're so happy to be together again with you. And today, the topic that I wanted to talk about and ask Carol some questions is how can we, as grandmothers and mothers, have a home environment that creates this safety and this beauty so that our daughters can grow up feeling good about their bodies and their sexuality? How can we do that, Carol? What are the studies or what have you learned?
Well, I think one of the things we need to make sure is that we use. Are we recording? Okay.
Yeah, I want you to look at that camera and they want to see your face.
One of the things we need to make sure we do is kind of have this mantra or this idea in our head of being a sex positive parenting. As parents, we tend to lie to our kids all the time. Think about it. We lie about the bunny rabbit. We lie about Santa Claus. How many times have you lied about how long 10 minutes is?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
But there's having a sex positive home or sex positive environment, especially with your children or mothers with daughters, is you have to talk about stuff. So, for example, let's say you got your little one is has figured out that stimulating herself or pleasuring herself feels good. The best thing for a sex positive mom would say something like, "Hey, honey, it's not okay," or not. Don't ever say it's not okay. Touching your vulva in the living room is not private. You need to do that in your bedroom.
Okay.
That's sex positive. If my daughter was picking her nose, I would say, picking your nose in the living room is not okay.
I love it.
Why can't I say
sweet.
touching your vulva in the living room is not private? You need to go to your bedroom or your bathroom.
Okay.
That's sex positive. Using the
that's
words. Don't just say your private parts,
Okay.
because then that still makes it very separate. We want it.
Okay.
We don't want to shame. So don't feel embarrassed to use the words. If you don't know the words, study them. Be careful about Googling it unless you've got a filter on your
Oh yeah.
your internet. Well, maybe not, but study the words for your private parts. So vulva, clitoris, vagina.
Yeah.
So for the little girls, we have to use those words. Don't use the words like boobies. You use breasts and nipples. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's awesome.
Anyway, what other questions do you have?
Well, yeah. What about what about the women and the mothers and the fathers in the home? What can they do to create an environment where their daughters feel safe and they can talk to them about everything and anything?
Well, first off, it's probably not healthy if their kids are talking to their parents about anything and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, because we still want to teach autonomy. We want to teach what's private versus secret.
Okay.
We do want to teach
boundaries.
Boundaries. We want to teach our children that, or send this message that whatever you do decide to tell me will be safe. I will not lose it. I will not become hysterical, and I'll try really hard not to shame or guilt.
Okay.
That's the message we want to share. But for teenager, for young kids especially, to tell you everything, that's probably not a logical goal.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
But
I love that.
Having the goal where if they have questions or concerns,
they feel safe that they can safe. Talk to you.
Right. And safety. So safety is the main message you want to send.
So that your daughter can come to your mom, to her mother and say, "Mom, I'm wondering about this. What do you think about this?"
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you will be, and there will be that openness and that connection there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like, I don't really want to learn about. I really didn't want to learn about sex from my mom, and my kids. I never really had the talk with my kids, but we talked about sex and sexual body parts since they were little. Having the talk just didn't really happen. So, but there was always talking.
Talking, okay,
There was always
so a
talking.
natural progression.
Right.
Yeah.
One time, one of my kids, they were young, I think junior high, they came home and they said, "Hey mom, the teacher said that if we can say penis and vagina in front of you, we have a good relationship."
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, "Oh no, don't say the word penis and vagina." Like, it was just super funny. We turned it into something fun.
Oh, you turned it into a joke.
Yeah, it was just fun.
Oh,
There was
my
no
gosh.
shame.
Oh,
We need to be able to feel comfortable and brave enough in our own body that I can use the body part words.
yes.
Yeah. Like I said, we wouldn't be embarrassed to say, "Don't pick your nose."
Right. Oh, I
But
just
why
love
do we
that.
say, "Don't touch your private parts"?
Okay.
For a 4-year-old, what's private?
Yeah.
I don't know what private is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, I love that. And how about with fathers? What can fathers do and mothers do to help their daughters, besides having open conversations?
Mhm.
Well, what can they do to create an environment where there's lots of hugs or this connection?
right, connection, and that's important to understand too. Is first of all, like we said before, you have to. Parents have to be comfortable with themselves first and feel safe. If you want to teach your children to be more touchy, then you have to do that. So if I want my children to hug me or other people, or accept hugs appropriately, I am the one that has to teach them that. Which means if I'm not comfortable hugging, touching, then that's what I have to work on. And if I'm not comfortable, there's a lot of other ways to connect with our children so that they feel okay about their bodies. Just make eye contact when they do come to you. Refrain, show empathy. Send this message that no matter what, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not going to lie about sex or sexuality or intimacy or pleasuring yourself or any of those messages. But if a child, developmentally, little girls or little boys, they will mimic their parent. So a little girl will mimic her mommy and then interact with her daddy as the mom. It's part of her developing her sexuality. And if the daddy responds appropriately, like tickles, hugs, teases, throws her in the air, plays a game with her, then she feels that she was seen and validated. That's what happens with little ones. It doesn't always have to be cuddles and hugs and kisses, but it can just be, got to be like Dr. Gottman, who is a relationship expert. His term is turning towards. There's, we send out bids for connection. He says like healthy relationships, if they see each other all day, I can't remember what the number is, but I think it's like 70 bids a day. And healthy relationships, like 80% of those bids you turn towards. Unhealthy relationships you turn away or against. Now, let me explain that real quick because you can do this with anyone. A bid for connection would be something like, let's say Christine and I are driving down the street and Christine goes, "Hey Carol, look at the skunk." That's a bid for connection. She wants me to go to follow along with her experience.
Yes.
So she goes, "Look at the skunk." If I'm connecting with her, my body language will be, "Where? What skunk?"
Oh.
So I'm following physically, emotionally, and verbally. I'm connecting. She goes, "Look at the skunk." I go, "Where? What skunk?"
Oh.
And we carry on that conversation. Now that's turning towards. If Christine sends out a bid for connection, she goes, "Hey Carol, look at the skunk." Now I have two other options also I can turn against, which is, "Pay attention to the road. That wasn't a skunk, that was a dog. We're gonna crash."
Oh, yeah.
See, she still feels like I connected with her, but it was turning against. It's
Yes.
argumentative.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel good about herself
Or connected.
No. But it feels, a lot of people connect that way. You still feel some connection, but it's not
Oh.
healthy.
Yes.
Because at least I responded.
Oh, yeah.
So there's turning towards, which is carrying on the conversation, turning against, which is this argument.
Yes.
But the worst is turning away. And turning away would look, again, Christine's driving, she says, "Hey Carol, look at the skunk." And I go, ugh. And I literally turn away. Or I pull up my phone.
I was thinking,
And
I'm too busy with my
There's
phone.
no response, yeah.
And the kids just run around and
Right.
all their connection is right here on this little phone.
Right.
That's
So turning towards is, Carol, look at the skunk. She's trying
Yes.
to connect with me. She calls me by my name. She gives me a command. And turning towards means I go with it. Where?
Yes.
Turning against, I argue with it. Pay attention.
Yeah.
And turning away is the worst, which
Yes.
is not even saying anything, just like, oh, here we go again. She's not paying attention.
Or just not
Yeah.
even listening when they say
Mhm.
anything.
Right.
They just say something and you're not present. You're just involved in your own little world so much that you don't connect.
Right. But good thing is we only have to turn towards, we only have to get it right 50% of the time.
50% of the time, hey,
Yeah, 50%
we can do
of the time.
that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if we get it right 50% of the time, our kids are going to be okay.
awesome.
So if they come to us and they want us to turn towards them, they're trying to have a bid for connection, they say something, anything, and I turn towards them and carry on the conversation, even just a couple of seconds, they feel connected. Even turning against is okay sometimes.
Sometimes.
Because they still feel heard. Like if they're really noisy at church and I turn against, settle down,
Yeah.
that's okay. They still feel.
yeah,
connected.
I understand that. Yeah.
But turning away is the hardest. And we live in a society where oftentimes we are turned away.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so good. Thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that.
simple things, but
Oh, and I
profound.
also heard something, and I heard this and this was not my case with my children growing up, of course, but I have heard a mother who said her little daughter came to her and was wanting to understand what vulva was or what she looked like, and so her mother gave her a mirror.
yeah, she's
That's incredible.
right.
I just thought, how cool. So she said, "You want to see what you look like? Go in the bathroom," and she had this little mirror, and you can see and what your body parts look like.
It's hard to see your
You can't see it.
you can't
No.
you can't see
Especially with me, with my stomach, I for sure can't.
you can't see those private parts. It's hard to see. But just because I can't see it doesn't mean it's off limits.
Yes.
Yeah. So if your kids do ask, don't go in and show them. That would not be appropriate.
Yeah.
Again, provide the privacy, but just say, "Hey, I know you're interested in those parts of your body. It's hard to see them. There's a mirror in the bathroom."
Oh.
And then also teach
I
them.
love this.
You know, we can also get infections, and it's an area that oftentimes is not exposed to bacteria. So just also tell them, and make sure you wash your hands.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Oh, well,
That's it.
thank you so much, Carol, for taking time to be with our group. We really appreciate her taking time and her wisdom and value and the expertise that she brings. Thank you so much again from the women of my intimacy group, whatever it's called. I forgot. I get brain freezes every now and then. The magic of intimacy. Thank you so much.
Bye.